All right, good morning. Good morning, good morning. Welcome back, my friends. How we doing? All righty. Morning, guys. Welcome back. Happy Tuesday. Hopefully you had a good day yesterday. Time to put the hood up. I just got this hoodie and I love it. I wear this hoodie for like an hour a day. And I wear it like during this live stream, and then during the live stream, then I trade with it, and then it goes off. Then it's time to get outside. You cannot wear a hoodie outside in Florida. 5 a.m. workout. Damn. Nice, Susan. That's commitment right there. Morning, guys. Welcome back. Hope you guys had a good day yesterday. Yesterday had some very, very clear levels. Very, very nice stuff. That 860 on NASDAQ, that 800 on NASDAQ, that 16,000 rejection on NASDAQ. Man, was it nice yesterday. So definitely some clean trades, and I'm excited for tonight's video. I have some really nice trades live for you guys to see, for you guys to review in the live recording, and then just sort of an overview on those that NASDAQ future. So I'm excited about tonight's video. I hope you guys check that one out. Today's your birthday? Hey, happy birthday, Jay Haas. Happy birthday, my friend. Did I see the GTA trailer? Yes, I did. I'm excited. It's based partly in Miami, which is pretty cool. Maybe I'll see my building in there. I don't know. I don't know how. I wonder how legitimate they're making the Miami area, the Brickell downtown area. If they make it pretty cool, pretty like actually what it is, then should see the building in there. So that'll be fun. Coming the trailer coming soon, 2025. So we got another year to wait. We got a whole another year. But man, once that comes out, man, that's gonna be. You might see me pretty tired on some morning live streams. That's all I'll say. That is definitely going to be. That is definitely going to be part of my life. Can't hear me in Discord voice chat? That is a user error, my friend. Check out the voice chat FAQ. Review the videos that I provided. Review the tutorials that I provided. Review everything. I explain why you can't hear, why you might not be able to hear. So, yeah. All right. Well, let's get started. So, once again, guys, welcome back. Thanks for stopping in. Thanks for stopping into the live streams. If you guys could, if you're early here, if you, I don't think Rockstar will F it up, man. Rockstar is like one of the game developers that I have a lot of trust in. I don't think, you're joking, Tony. Oh man, Tony, that's a good one. I think Rockstar is one of the game developers that I have a lot of trust in. I believe in Rockstar. At least from the past experiences, I think we can all believe in Rockstar. I'm leaving my wife and kids when GTA 6 comes out. It's good. I would too. I don't blame you, Gareth. All right, guys. So yesterday, let's go ahead and review. If you guys could, press that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Early likes are always the best. Gives us a nice baseline to get started on. So if you guys could, if you're here early, if you come here early every day, go ahead and press it for me. Here we go. So schedule. Let's get that schedule pulled up. There we go. And there it is. So obviously, economic earnings calendar. Let's start there. Nothing on the earnings calendar that I care about today, but we do need to pull up that economic and get an idea of what we have today. So here it is. So today is Tuesday, December 5th. You guys can see right here, ISM services, PMI, and the JOLTS data, JOLTS job openings. So let's see, right? Let's see what happens. 10 o'clock today. JOLTS, ISM, nothing in the pre-market, so we don't need to worry about anything there. But just make sure you guys know, if you're trading half an hour after open, 30 minutes after open, just be aware that you're going to see a little bit of volatility. So if you're in a trade, right, if you're in a trade and you are over-leveraged, do not do that. Right? Make sure you have comfortable size. Make sure you understand that there could be some volatility around 10 o'clock today. Okay? Make sure you know that. Tomorrow, non-farm payrolls, 8:15, unemployment, Thursday, and then Friday, average hourly earnings, non-farm employment change, unemployment rate. All right? So, very important there. Make sure we understand these. Make sure we are watching these. Yeah. Today, just 10 o'clock. Nothing pre-market. All right? So that's that. Let's pull up that Treasury. Let's pull up the Treasury PDF because we do have some next week, right? Just a reminder. I know we look at this every day, but just a reminder. Next week, I would be sort of watching some of this action here. Next week, 1 o'clock, 3-year note, 10-year note, 30-year bond. December 11th, December 12th. That's Monday and Tuesday of next week, so just understand you know that, okay? All right, let's move on. So, Tesla, actually an interesting hold on Tesla yesterday, right? Tesla held pretty nicely, regardless of that NASDAQ downside. Tesla sort of held itself up. So, important demand to be watching today down there at that 231, 232. It is still holding. NVIDIA staying weak. Big breakdown yesterday and a big rejection of a previous low. Going to be obviously reviewing NVIDIA like we do every day, but very weak there on that NVIDIA move. AMD 119. We broke and retested a very key 119 level. We need to be watching what it does at 119 today. NVIDIA or AMD was very clean yesterday. Google, the 131 rejections. We nailed this. We nailed this trade in the group yesterday. This will be part of the live trade tonight. We played NVIDIA or Google 131 rejections, and man, was it a beauty. So we're going to review what happened there on Google. Obviously, we'll show the live trade tonight in the YouTube video, but that was a really nice one. Meta 315, really strong demand hold there on Meta. That actually caught me up a little bit. Took a little loss on Meta yesterday off that 315. I tried to play it under 315. It did not want to break down under it. So very key hold there on Meta. Microsoft 371, and then Amazon 145.50. So some key levels here today. Some very nice break and retests across everything yesterday, across the market, across individual stocks. So yesterday was a really, really clean example of price action. And so now let's just dive right into it. So here we go. NASDAQ yesterday. What did we do? What did we do yesterday on the NASDAQ? Well, you guys can see we came off that 16,000 supply, right? We dropped aggressively to the downside, right? And when we came back up, well, actually, before we go over that, let's take a look at what happened here in the short term, right? Because this was where the downside really came in yesterday, or at least continued lower. This was a key inflection point of the day yesterday. And this can all be explained based off technical levels. So, what level were we watching yesterday to be aware of potential demand or potential break and retest to the downside, right? All right, Batum. You spamming a chart will make me negative look at it, right? Now I will purposely not look at Walmart today. All right, so 15,860, right? You guys can see right here, previous lows, right? That was the NASDAQ, right? Previous lows, 15,860, 15,850, right? We talked about this level. This was the Thursday, Friday low, right? That we were watching on the NASDAQ. Now, this is gorgeous, right? Because you can see exactly what happened here on the NASDAQ. We dropped into that level, right? We attempted to hold it. Right? But we failed. We came back into it, right? And look at that rejection right at the Thursday, Friday lows yesterday on the NASDAQ futures. This was perfect. You can see the previous lows, right? And look at that wick rejection at 15,860 yesterday. Look at how clear that rejection was. That was beautiful, right? That was beautiful. That's what led to your further downside. That 15,860 break and retest, that's Thursday, Friday lows. It's a break and retest of previous lows. Beautiful stuff right there yesterday, leading to more downside. Now, this was an interesting part of the day, right? Because you broke right through that 15,800 level. And that 15,800 level is a really, right? And let's go here 1 second. That 15,800 level is very important. And even look at this 2-minute chart, right? Look at this 2-minute chart at that 860, right? This is Thursday, Friday lows. Look at these wicks on the 2-minute chart at 15,860, right? Look how clear that is. Rejection, right? And after seeing all those rejections at Thursday, Friday lows, look at the outcome on the downside, right? That was a very, very key area of the day yesterday, right? That was sort of that technical level that just failed to hold above, and we rejected it. So right here, this candle, right? This was a very aggressive drop yesterday. And the reason why this just sort of slid and sort of dumped under 15.8, right? We talked about this. 15.8 is that big low volume area, right? Under 15.8, there is little to no support, right? You guys can see right here. You have this big volume gap, right here between 15.8 and 15.6, right? And you can see after we broke that 15.8, we had that very aggressive dump to the downside. Now, there is a reason why the NASDAQ held up here, right? And I will explain it to you in just a second. We have to look at the S&P 500 to understand why the NASDAQ held here. Now, let's go back in, right? And let's understand what happened later day. So if we go to the 15-minute chart, right, after we got this pump back to the upside, where did the NASDAQ reject, right? And the NASDAQ rejected right at the 860 level again, right? You can see it right there. We broke down, we came back up, we double topped at the previous lows, and that is leading to more downside. So what are we watching today, right? You can see this is just market structure, and I hope you understand this because it is very key, right? And you can see these levels being respected. The Thursday, Friday lows, after rejecting it early morning for downside, you came back up into it, you rejected it again, right? And the NASDAQ is now stuck under Thursday, Friday lows. Very clear, right? Very clear, very nice. Really nice to see there on the NASDAQ futures. Now, today, you need to be watching the 15.8 and the 15.860. And if we're above 15.8, I believe that the NASDAQ is going to try to hold that level, right? You can see right here. Later in the day yesterday, look at these attempts to hold 15.8, right? You can see right there. You came back up, you rejected the 860, and when you rejected the 860, you came back down into the 800, went back up, came back down into the 800. And it looks like the NASDAQ is trying to hold, or at least attempt to have a last-ditch effort hold of that 15.8. Because that 15.8 is that major level before the low volume area. And you can see now we're going to have to put a level here just for our own sake today. I don't think this is an important long-term level. All right, I don't have really anything at this level long-term, but I do want to make sure I'm watching that level today. All right, this little low that has been created here in the pre-market. So for me today, guys, I'm watching this 15.8, right? This is very important. If we reject this 15.8 today, right, I'm looking for further downside. That is a very key level, this 15.8 area. I would also watch the 15.825. That's that 20 SMA right above. And then, of course, the 860. And so even if the NASDAQ gets above 800 today, I do not like the NASDAQ for upside at all, right? I will not look for upside at all if the NASDAQ is below 15.860, right? Because 15.860, and maybe I even bring this up, right? Because there were some rejections even up into that 875, right up in there. I do not want to be long into these highs that were formed yesterday, right there, and into the Friday and Thursday lows, right? Thursday lows, Friday lows, right? And I don't want to be long into the 15.875, right? You can see right there. So there is no reason in my eyes to try to long after the NASDAQ just did a major structural change, right? This is a major market structure change yesterday because you just went from creating lows at this 860, 875 level to creating new highs, right? And so why try to long back into this level, right? Because you know if the NASDAQ gets back above this level, then you will probably have some upside opportunity. So for me today, guys, I am short today. as long as the NASDAQ is under 875, I am more looking for downside. I'm looking for those pops and rejections. Obviously, right? Obviously, I would be not short in the short term, right? Let me try to make sense of this. I would not want to be short in the short term if the NASDAQ starts to hold above 15,008, right? I'm not going to try to short into the 15.8 if it's holding above it. But for now, we can still see, look at this weakness stepping in at this 15.8 level, right? Very clear. And if you want, you can move it up maybe into this 15.812 area, but I'm going to leave it at 15.8 just so I know that that's that key level there. You have a weekly level at 720. Let me check it out. What do you guys have there? I'm just going to try to. Yeah, I see it. I see it. I see that 720 level. There's another reason why the NASDAQ held there, though, and I'll explain to you in a second. But yeah, you got a little something there at 720, 715. I see it, that 4-hour level there. This previous high right there and these previous lows. So yes, I see it right here. Previous lows, previous high right here. 15,715, 15,720. I see it there. So yeah, you have that down below. And that is exactly where that NASDAQ sort of held on yesterday. So very key there, right? So if you are shorting, watch out for that 15,720. That's obviously, it's obviously a level you're going to watch, right? Because it's the previous day lows, right? You're going to be watching previous day lows. We don't want to be aggressive short into the previous day low ever, right? Ever. Long into previous day high, short into previous day low. That's very key. So let's take a quick recap here, right? 15.8, that's your level today. That's these previous lows from yesterday. That's that channel low. And look at what's happening right now. So you're watching 15.8. If the NASDAQ rejects 15.8, I'd expect more weakness. If the NASDAQ gets above 15.8 and tries to hold above it, I would look for that weak push into the 875, 860, and then a rejection, right? And then if the NASDAQ gets above this previous rejection point from yesterday, let's say the NASDAQ has some strong bounce and gets back above this previous day high, right? These highs here, and back above the Thursday, Friday low, that would be the only spot. This is the only spot that I would consider possibly taking the market long for some type of a long into that 16,000 again. That is the only spot. If it's not above that level, I'm looking for bounces and fades, 15.8 rejection, right? I'm looking for the bounce and the fade off these two supplies today, all right? Let's go to the QQQ. Now, this is very important, right? Because the QQQ did a pretty good job of holding demand yesterday. And this is one of the reasons why you got that NASDAQ hold yesterday, right? Look at this QQQ level around that 384. That is exactly the opposite of what I said, B. Richardson. 384 on the QQQ, right? You can see right here. Previous lows, right? Previous lows, right? And look at that QQQ trying to hold 384 right now. That is that major channel low on the QQQ before this, right? Before that, right? And so I would want to be very, very cautious here at 384 on the QQQ. Right, I would want to be very cautious here on the QQQ around 384. Look at how it's attempting to hold at that level. That is also the 20 SMA, right? That is also the 20 SMA. You can see it right there, 20 SMA, and you can see the hold at the 384, right? So you can see we popped higher. We rejected the 386, right? Why did we reject the 386? Previous lows, right? And look at that rejection at 386. Breakdown, retest, 386, right? 1, 2, right? 386, rejection. Very, very nice right there. And if we go down to the 5-minute chart, or actually let's go to the 2-minute chart. All right, let's look at that 2-minute chart. Let's look at that reaction yesterday in the early morning. Look at this, right? Look at that 386 yesterday. Tried to get above, failed. Look at all these fails, all these wick rejections. back under that 386 right there, right? Look at all those failed attempts higher back over 386, right? And you can see we came down, bounced near that 20 SMA 384 demand, right? Got back above it, came back up, 386, 386, right? And so for me today, right, I don't want to be long if the QQQ is under that 386, right? Because that is a very key structural change. That was a previous low that turned into very clear rejections yesterday intraday. So for me, right, I'm not that interested in longing back into that 386 level. I would want to be long if the QQQ can hold above that level. Then I could possibly look for that long using 386 as my stop loss, right? So 386, very big level there. That's your supply high today. Watch to see if that holds or if it breaks, right? See if it holds below or breaks above. The demand below around this 384, maybe 383 area, right? You could probably have this as an entire 1-point range, right? You can probably have this as an entire 1-point range. If you want to protect yourself, right? You probably don't want to short into previous day lows. That's obvious. And you obviously don't want to be too short into this 384. That's that 20 SMA right there. So today, you got yourself a channel. You got your 383, 384 demand. You got your 386 supply. And you're looking to see if you can catch reactions off these levels. If they break and hold below, which they did yesterday, you look for continuation, right? Yesterday was a key break and hold below a demand level, right? Because you had your demand right here. You had your demand right here, but it did not hold, right? It did not hold. It broke and held below it, right? And that was the key for that further downside right here. It broke and held below that demand, which led to the further downside. So very key there on the QQQ. All right. This is why I believe the NASDAQ held where it did. This is what I think very much contributed to a hold yesterday on the market. It is the ES outperformance, overall the outperformance on the ES, and the 45.50 level on the ES demand, right? The ES broke down under that 75.80 level, right? It got back below this high, back below these highs here, back below this high right here. It got below it and rejected it. And when you moved back lower, oh, it'll come back. Huh. There we go. Yeah, that happened yesterday too. I don't know why. All right, so let me recap. So 45.80, right? We broke below that 45.80. We came back up, right? We rejected that 45.80 level, right? And when we came back up and rejected that 45.80 level, right? We rejected it. We moved back lower. And when we moved back lower, that demand really held. And that demand hold came in around 11 o'clock yesterday, right? 11 o'clock yesterday. And obviously, 11 o'clock is around that time that NASDAQ started to bounce. I think that was a very important and a must hold for the market, right? At that 45.50 on the ES. I do want to point something out here, guys, because this is very important. If we look at this ES chart, right, and we look at where we are, right, the NASDAQ broke below the November 11th, November 14th, November 15th. The NASDAQ, this is 15.8 right here, right, on the NASDAQ, right down here. Right, if we go to the NASDAQ, this low right here is that November 15th, November 14th low, right? That's around that 15.8. That's that 15.8 low. If we look at the ES at that same time, right, that is right here. So we can see how much of an outperformance the ES is having right now. The ES is about 1.3% off that November 14th, November 15th low. Right? And the NASDAQ is currently trading right here in relation to time. So you can see that underperformance on tech versus the ES. And I believe that that's very important because if that ES sort of holds strong, it might sort of slow down the downside on tech as well, right? If it sort of just maintains, right, and it outperforms, you might not get that, big slip that you might be looking for if this ES maintains itself. You really need both markets, right? ES and NASDAQ to really be slipping for that major move. This sort of held us up yesterday a little bit, right? Sort of held us up a little bit, that 45.50 demand. And you can see we came back up, rejected 45.80, came back down, and we're trying to hold that 45.50 again. So what do you have today on the ES? It's pretty damn clear, guys. You have a 30-point range, right? You have a 30-point range, right? What's your 30-point range? 45.80, 45.50, right? 45.80, 45.50. You got yourself a 30-point range today, and you need to trade within the range, right? If you want to take these trades, but you have to wait for your entries, right? You have to wait for your actual entry points. You can't be trading here, there, right? I think the best trades of the day will be set up based off of that 45.80 supply and be set up at that 45.50 demand, right? I think those are your best trading levels on the day. If you get a pop, look for that triple top to turn into a rejection again. If you get an aggressive drop, look to see if that demand holds, all right? So 45.50, 45.80. You could watch a little bit of this action right here, right? This 45.70, 45.68, right? You could watch this little previous low that turned into a pre-market rejection right here. See this? Previous low right here, pre-market rejection. I think you could watch that, right? I think that's a valid area to sort of monitor. I wouldn't be going, largest trade of the day based off this level because it is a very short-term level here, right? A little intermediary level. I would be more interested in trading off that 45.80 today, right? That would really be the level that I'm interested in. If we zoom out and go to the hourly chart again, I just want to give you some, larger term ideas here. If you break the 45.50 at any point here in the near future, even possibly today, right? 45.40 is still a very large demand to be aware of, right? Right here, 45.40, 45.40, 45.40. So even if you do break the 50, you do still need to be careful of the 40, right? Even if you break the 45.50, you still need to be very cautious of the 40 level, right? Because look at what's happened here at 45.40. Previous highs, demand. And even if you break down the 50, right, that could even be the little 10-point bear trap there, right? If you do break that 50 and sort of move into that 40, that could be a little 10-point bear trap, right, back into this previous high. So overall, my sort of feeling on the ES is that if I'm looking to short the market, I would look more on the tech side, right? Because really, if we zoom out here on the ES, this has done nothing bearish, right? It has done nothing bearish. The only thing that it's done is rejected 4,600 twice, right? We've had very technical rejections there, which is fine. That's normal, right? But the ES has not even broken these previous highs, right? It is still in this stair step, right? There's stair steps to this market. There's structural levels to this market, right? And so the ES is really still in this stair-stepping channel, right? The last one was here, right? This was your last stair step right here, right? This was your last structure, high and low. And now the ES is in the next one, the higher one, and it's still holding above it, right? It is still holding above it. So ES, not that weak, man. And that demand is still holding very nicely. So make sure you pay attention to that. All right, SPY. Concepts remain the same here on the SPY. Let's go to the 30-minute chart, right? We can see if we go to this 30-minute, right, look at that. Just overall willingness to hold up anywhere between like this 454 and 453.50, right? This whole area just is continuing to hold up, right? You can see that on the SPY. You have this demand here, right? Held here, right? All these holds just continue to step up as you approach these lows anywhere near that 453.50. So this just gives you the idea, hey, if I'm looking to short and we're at a low a day, I probably should be careful, right? Because anytime you shorted, sort of late on the SPY, it's given you some really aggressive demand bounces. So please be aware of that. I sort of like this 457 level more today than anything else, right? I think the 457 level is the level to watch more than anything else. I want to try to clean this up on the SPY, and I think the 457 level is really the level that I would be monitoring. And the reason I say that, right, is because you can see this is where that triple top came in, right there. 457 You have that triple top on the SPY, right? You can see it right there. 1, 2, and 3. That is the ES 4580 level, right? That is the ES 4580, 1, 2, 3, right? See those supplies right there. That is the same thing as your SPY 457. So for me, right, 457 is sort of that key level to be watching today. If I see a move higher today, I need to be cautious of longing into 457 on the SPY, right? Because that is that 4580 on ES, right? And that is that yesterday triple top high. So I don't want to be longing here, right? That doesn't make sense. For me, after seeing all these demand holds, right, on the ES, right? After seeing all these demand holds on the ES, right? I want to be, if I'm going to long anything, I want to be longing back towards this 454, 453.50, right? Looking to see if demand steps up here or down here, right? That's more interesting to me. I'm going to be watching that 457, right? And I'm going to be watching that 453.50. Obviously, I would keep a level at your previous day low, as always, right? As always. So 453.50, 457. I think that's your channel today. But again, as I usually say, I think the ES is just a cleaner thing to watch. This is why I like to watch the futures. I just find more clarity by actually watching the futures levels versus the ETF. So I think it's very clear here on the ES, 4580, 4550, 30-point range. That's what I would be watching. All right. I'll pop into the RTY for you small cap boys. I know there's some small cap boys out there that get all horned up because there's Roku going up. There's AMC, GameStop, Carvana, Peloton. I know people get horned up when they see that happening. So let me go and zoom out here on the 4-hour chart. So what did we talk about yesterday? We talked about this next high right around this 1890, 1900. I would be careful in this whole area on the upside. This 1890 to 1900 area is your next 10-point sort of supply level that I would be paying attention to. All right. So if you are looking for longs on the Russell, just please be careful of this 4-hour. All right. You can see these 4-hour rejections that stepped up around 1890, 1900. Right. You can see right here. 1890, 1900, all these rejections that are stepping up here in the past, I would be careful of that area. And we're approaching it pretty closely. So if we do see any type of rejection up here, right, you want to look for that retest of 1860 because that's really the important demand hold there. All right, so 1860 demand, and then up here that 1890, 1900 level, that's where I would be a little bit cautious on the Russell. All right, Tesla. So what did Tesla do yesterday? Well, we took a short on Tesla yesterday at the high of day, which was an awesome trade. And it was just pure technical analysis, guys. It was nothing else. I didn't, I just saw it at supply and I took a trade. That's all I did. I have this trade recorded live. You'll see it in tonight's video as well. We took some shorts yesterday on Tesla at 240, and man, was it a beautiful rejection. And there was nothing to it, right, besides TTL. That's all it was. It was just me trusting that this 240 level would attempt to reject again, right, after seeing the NASDAQ weakness, after seeing the weakness on the market, right? We were pushing higher right into that 240 supply yesterday, right here. This is market open. We pushed higher right into that 240 supply. I started to take shorts up here, and this was a fantastic, fantastic fade. Very happy to see this one yesterday. If you guys caught that one, congratulations. But all this was, right? All this was yesterday, it was nothing more than a rejection of that previous supply, right? And so if I zoom out here and I go to this chart here on the 30-minute, right? We had the previous lows here, 240. We had that sort of attempt to hold at 240. We got below it. We rejected. 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 And yesterday we got back into it. I took a short off the 240 and a very nice rejection. Now, moving forward, right? What did Tesla do? It really didn't do anything. It held demand. It rejected supply. It stayed within its channel, right? That's really all Tesla did yesterday. It rejected its supply high and it held its demand low. So Tesla really is the same concept applies as it did yesterday, right? If you move lower into the 231, 232, be careful of that demand stepping up, just like it did right here, right here, right here, right here, right here, right here, right? Be careful of that demand stepping up down at that 231. That means you are not shorting into that level. If you get under that level, under that 231, then sure, you might get a little bit further downside. Now, if you see that demand hold, right, you could attempt that long, but where do you need, this is the most important, guys. All right, if you're going to try to attempt these holds or rejections of the channel high and channel low, you have to respect that you need a stop loss, right? Because there could potentially be a time, there will be a time that you are incorrect, right? So I was incorrect on Meta yesterday, and we'll go through that trade. I was correct on Tesla, right? I was correct by shorting the 240 supply. It never broke above. I stayed in the trade. I got a nice profit. If Tesla was to break above 240, I need to understand, hey, right? My idea was incorrect. I need to have my stop loss, right? So if you're going to try to long Tesla today, maybe off that 231, build your plan. Say I'm long off 231. If it breaks below it and holds below it, I need to exit, right? I'm not going to hope and pray that it gets back above, right? That's the key. It is 8:40. We have 1,900 people here, and we have 800 likes. If you guys could, press that like button. Subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate you guys' support. I appreciate if you guys could help support the channel. If you guys do watch this for free, remember this is 100% free every single morning. All right, so 231, 232 area, watch that on Tesla. Obviously, if you get that demand hold, watch that push in the 240 supply. That's what I would be watching on Tesla, man. I don't think I would get involved in Tesla, sort of in the middle of this range. I know there's probably some trades out there in the middle of the range, right? I know there's probably some maybe a rejection of pre-market lows here, right? Something like that. But I would want to be trading here or there. That's where your greatest edge is, in my opinion. Mohammed, man, I'm trying to get through something. I can't. Mohammed, I can't just stop the live stream for the other 2,000 people in here for that. So maybe another time. All right. So NVIDIA, right? What did NVIDIA do yesterday? We broke below that 461, 462 level. This was so clean yesterday, right? Look at that, just sort of flush under that low. Unfortunately, NVIDIA was a little bit too much of an aggressive move for me to catch, right? It sort of just died and bounced, and it didn't quite get back into the previous lows. But I will show you. I need to do some donation. Rad Dad, thank you for joining the stream, man. Rad Dad, appreciate that. And also Larry with the 10 gifted memberships. Damn. Larry. Larry's a good guy, man. Whoever you are, Larry, I know we haven't met in person, but you're a good guy. And say thank you to Larry for all your gifted membership. Sean Miller, Josh Schuler, Piff, Mark Hart, Chach, Scott Rosier, Derek J. Haas, and Chris Ritter and Sita. 10 gifted. What a guy. All right. So 462, right? You guys can see right there. That was that breakdown, right? 462. You see that previous low right here. Well, you sort of just flushed under it. So unfortunate on that part, right? Unfortunate on that part. But look at this demand that is holding. And this is the important part today, right? You need to understand that you are not shorting NVIDIA into 450, right? You cannot short NVIDIA into 450, right? You can see that right there. 450, be careful of that demand stepping up. So what is the best short on NVIDIA? What is the best short on NVIDIA out of all shorts, right? For me, it is this break and retest of 462. Excuse me. So if we get that pop, right? I want to look to see if that previous low right here turns into a rejection, right? And I'll show you a chart after NVIDIA that did this perfectly, right? Absolutely perfectly. And so if I know that works, right, that's what I'm going to be looking for. So today, I'm not going to short NVIDIA if it's above 450. That does not make sense. If NVIDIA gets a little pop today, right? I'm going to look for that 462 supply. If NVIDIA breaks 450, then you can get aggressive again. If NVIDIA breaks 450, then you can get aggressive again, right? If NVIDIA breaks this low and NVIDIA breaks this low, then you can look for that downside rejection. So 450, 462, those are the levels I'd watch. You could mess around with some of these previous highs, but it's just not, right? I don't trust these little highs on an intraday basis. I don't trust trading off these intraday highs, right? Not really my thing. I want to really be trading at the major, larger term levels. And for me, it's 462, right? And 450, all right? AMD, this is the stock. And I can't make up how beautiful this is, right? It's just such a thing of beauty. And I'm going to continue to just nonstop talk about this until the end of my days, man, because I just don't see anything else in the market that's more easy to understand, more structural, more just sort of textbook technical analysis to look for than these break and retests. I just cannot, I can't stress it enough. And so back on Friday, we had a low at 118.60, right? Right here. We had this low step in on AMD on Friday of last week around this 118.60, 118.70, right? And yesterday, what do you do, right? What did you do yesterday that provided the best possible entry point? All it was, right here, this was a break, this was a retest, and this was a bear flag right into the previous day low, right? You just can't make it up. You just cannot make it up. That is the most sexy chart probably of the day yesterday. That is a perfect break, retest, previous day low, turning into a rejection, bam, right? I hope you understand this on the charts. I hope you can start to recognize this on the charts because this was just perfection. So if you caught AMD yesterday off that, you killed it. You got a great trade. That's a fantastic entry. Really nice downside there. So what am I watching today? Hey, I'm watching the same damn thing. So if AMD pushes higher today into this 20 SMA, into this 118, 119 area, right? I'm actually going to pop it up to 119 for today just to play it safe, right? If AMD starts to move higher towards that 118.70, 119 level, and I start to see rejections here today at the 20 SMA, at this rejection, at Friday's lows, right? Look at how clear that could be. That would be my perfect short spot today. So 119 AMD, that's my level I'm watching. Big time stuff there. What a beautiful trade that was yesterday. And I hope that you understand it. All right. Google, we caught this bad boy yesterday. This was a beauty. What did we trade on Google yesterday? Well, yesterday we were talking about, if I pull up this hourly chart, we were talking about the 131 level on Google yesterday morning, right? We were talking about this previous low right here. See this? 131, previous low, right? We moved lower. We held that 131 demand. This is back in early November. We bounced to the upside. So we were coming down into that level yesterday, right? And yeah, I can't make this one up either. Let's go to the 2-minute chart. Let's go to 131, right? What happened yesterday at 131 on Google? Break, retest, rejection, downside. We came back into it. Rejection, the entire rejection at the previous lows. 131 previous lows, break, retest, bam. Beautiful stuff. Today, in the pre-market, after hours, what's happening on Google? You move back into it. What happened at 131? Bam, right? Another rejection. So, what am I watching today? Same exact thing. Pushed into 131, looking to see if that turns into a rejection point. If it does, I'll look for that supply rejection at 131, right? I'll be only looking for a little bit, right? I'm not going to be shorting into the lows. That's, of course, not going to be a profitable strategy. So if I do catch up here, I'll look for just a profit take into that move, right? But I'm going to be watching for that 131 level once again. All right? That's Google. 131 today. That's what I would be watching. Meta. So, Meta, 315, beautiful hold there, right? You can see that. If we go back to the 30-minute, or let's go to the 1-hour chart. We talked about this 315 level, and I'll sort of break down in tonight's video. I'll break it down momentarily here, but I'll also talk about it. I took a little loss on Meta here, and if we zoom in, you'll sort of see why. But you can see Meta broke down, right, into our triple bottom lows at 315. You can see right there, 1, 2, 3, and then a very nice hold at 315, right? And I think some of you guys said that you caught this to the long side, so well done. Now, after holding 315, what did it do? What did Meta do after holding 315, right? Where did it move up into and where did it reject? Hey, what do you know? Previous day lows, right? So you moved higher on Meta. You moved into the previous day low, 321, break, retest, bam, right? So what are you watching today? Very, very clear. 321 rejections, 315 demand holds, right? That is as clear as it can get, right? And if you just make it so you only trade off these two levels, right? You can really, really simplify your trading, guys. And that's what you need to do at the end of the day. Simplify your trading, right? I'm either trading here or here. And if it's not here and it's not there, I'm not touching Meta, right? And it's simple. It's simple, right? So try to simplify your trading. Try to make some rules for yourself, right? If Meta's not here and Meta's not here, I have no edge, right? If for me, guys, this is how I do it. I color code it. Maybe this is maybe this is a really good tip for some of you out there. If I'm looking at a chart and it's in black area, right? If it's in a dark area, which means it's not by a green or red box, it's an instant no trade for me, right? It's an instant, hey, this is not something you should be looking to trade. If it's in a red area or in a green area, then I get interested, right? That's how I sort of click on to what I'm watching, right? And when you guys hear me on the Discord, sometimes you hear me say, oh, wait, like, oh, hold on a second, right? That's because I spot something that's in a zone, right? And maybe that helps you guys. I don't know, but that helps me a lot. So very clear, right? 321, right? Rejection there, demand there, right? That's what I'd be watching. We don't have time to go over that, but if you want to watch how I lost on Meta, feel free to watch my video tonight. All right, next one, Microsoft, real quick. Just want to go over Microsoft, Amazon. Microsoft was another trade that I took yesterday, 366 supply rejection. This was a very, very, very clear and clean break and retest bear flag yesterday. I'll show you it right now real quick, right? Look at this. Look at this right here. So, Microsoft, break, retest bear flag of 366, right? Bam, beautiful. 366 bear flag, break and retest. Why 366? Let me zoom out. Got to get more time here. Why 366? Well, if we go to the hourly chart, we can see 366 demand, 366 demand, right? And yesterday we broke under it, we retested it, and we rejected it for a scalp. Now, overall, when we zoom out, we sort of get the whole picture here, later day action. Microsoft did reclaim that 366, right? Microsoft did reclaim that 366. So that is very important, right? We're not going to short Microsoft if it's above 366. Look at the channel, guys. Look at all these stocks that are doing the exact same thing, right? Previous day lows, broke, retested, and we're stuck in this channel now. So Microsoft, 371, 20 SMA, 366 demand. That is the same thing that we just saw on Meta, right? Look at how similar that chart is. Look at Meta. Previous lows, break, retest, rejection, right? Microsoft, exact same thing. Previous lows, retest of previous lows, right? Exact same thing. So really clean across a lot of stocks today, guys. A lot of the same stuff. And hey, what do you know? Amazon is doing the same exact thing, right? You can't make that up either. So you can see the structure that the stock, like if Microsoft, Meta, and Amazon are all doing the same exact thing, and there's probably a lot more stocks, this is how the market trades, right? This is how the market trades. It's not, a certain stock's doing this or that. This is the characteristics of how stocks trade, right? This is the rudimentary knowledge of actually how stocks trade, right? How do they react no matter what this ticker is, no matter what the ticker is on the top right of your screen? How do stocks trade, right? And you just saw it over the last 3 stocks. This is how they move. They break the previous lows. They turn the previous lows into rejections. They hold previous demand levels, right? It's the structure of the market, and you just saw it across those 3 stocks. This is that knowledge that I think is more important than anything else, right? Understanding the structure, understanding how they move. You want to make sure you have the right levels, right? That's what I try to help you with. But you can see how well they move between these levels and how they structure themselves. I think this is very important, and I hope that you are learning that by watching these streams. So previous lows, 145.50, demand at 142.50. Watch the channel, watch the structure. All right? That's all I got. I hope you guys enjoyed the live stream. I really do believe that there's a lot of value from being here, guys. We talk about these levels every day. There's absolutely trades that are happening every day off these levels. I would watch them. I would try to learn the best you can. I would go back and watch these live streams. You can watch them. You don't have to just watch them live. Go back and watch how we go through the charts, right? To try to learn, try to educate yourself. They're 100% free on YouTube. And all I ask is for you to press that damn like button. Press the like button. Subscribe to the channel. Tell your friends about the stream. Let's continue to pump the stream up. Larry, thank you for your support today. And thank you for blessing some of the people in the chat. Thank you guys for everything. Have a fantastic day. Make sure to watch the video tonight. Let's get that video some views tonight. Some live trading. Make sure you're there for it. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Peace out.